Welcome to the weekly roundup of Air News Daily Bulletins.
UK low-cost operator AJet has announced 3 new routes for summer 2026. From its newly established base at Newcastle, they will be offering twice-weekly flights to Rome Fiumicino from the 30th of March, and will add twice-weekly flights to Lisbon starting on the 22nd of June. Both destinations will operate on Mondays and Fridays, probably using the same aircraft. And from the 3rd of July, the carrier will also be offering passengers in Manchester twice-weekly services to Bari in southern Italy. These flights will also operate on Mondays and Fridays. That's nice and easy. The Summer Sea Spain's Malaysia Airlines introducing 2 new seasonal routes from its Venice base to Greece. From the 27th of June, the carrier will be offering a weekly flight to Corfu that will fly on Saturdays. And from the 2nd of July, the carrier will launch a weekly service to Rhodes, operating on Thursdays. Flights are planned to operate on the carrier's Airbus A320 fleet. From the 1st of July, TAP Air Portugal will be offering customers 5 flights a week between its Lisbon hub and the Greek capital Athens. Flights will operate every day except Mondays and Tuesdays and will be flown using the carrier's Airbus A320s until the start of the winter timetable in October, when it will be downgraded to their Embraer E190s. The Vietnamese carrier VietJet will be offering a thrice-weekly service from the 28th of April between its Hanoi base and Shizuoka in central Japan. Flights will operate on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays using the carrier's Airbus A320 fleet and will provide customers with easy access to Japan's famous Mount Fuji. From the 4th of April, Hainan Airlines will be offering customers non-stop services between Shenzhen and Madrid. Flights will operate once a week on Saturdays using the airline's Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners. Hainan will be the only carrier on the route and may introduce additional services if demand warrants it. Let's hope it does. Wizz Air is expanding its Warsaw modelling base with the introduction of flights to Varna and Rimini. Services to the Black Sea resort of Varna will commence on the 21st of May and will operate thrice weekly on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. Flights to the North Italian city of Rimini will commence on the 22nd of May and will operate 4 times weekly on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays and Sundays. In addition to the new routes from Warsaw, the Hungarian low-cost carrier will introduce thrice-weekly services between Krakow and Rhodes. These will start on the 9th of June. Customers will have a choice of flights on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays. AirAsia will launch services between its Kuala Lumpur base and Batam in Indonesia from the 1st of March. The daily flights will operate using the carrier's Airbus A320 family of aircraft, and Batam becomes the carrier's 19th route to Indonesia. And finally, Solomon Airlines will launch non-stop services between Christchurch, New Zealand and Port Vila in Vanuatu from the 1st of July, becoming the first ever direct service between New Zealand's South Island and the Pacific island of Vanuatu. Flights will operate using the carrier's fleet of Airbus A320s twice weekly on Wednesdays and Saturdays, with an average flight time of approximately 4 hours. That's all for today, folks. Thanks for being with us. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow with more news from the aviation world. In the meantime, have a great day. Lufthansa Group member Swiss International has confirmed that it has started to ground its fleet of 9 Airbus A220-100s in Toulouse, France, for what it describes will be a period of at least 18 months as issues with their Pratt & Whitney geared turbofan engines persist. The carrier confirmed that the gradual grounding of the fleet is to free up the engines to be used to bolster the efficient operation of their fleet of larger Airbus A220-300s, of which it has 21. Emirates Sky Cargo Division has announced the launch of its first new destination for 2026 with the introduction of scheduled services to Liège. The carrier plans to operate 5 flights per week using its Boeing 777 freighters. The airline also says 3 of the 5 services will continue to Chicago, carrying time-sensitive pharmaceuticals to the Illinois Gateway. In a surprising move, the UK arm of low-cost carrier Wizz Air has applied for a US foreign air carrier permit under the UK-US Open Skies Agreement. The move is believed to be related to the forthcoming FIFA World Cup tournament scheduled to take place in the Americas later this year. The carrier has always said it wasn't interested in entering the transatlantic fray, but may now be about to offer a series of charters to seize on the opportunity that the World Cup offers. The carrier's A321 XLRs are ideally suited to the task, although the airline doesn't currently possess extended twin operations or ETOPS approval, so would have to fly closer to land in order to fulfil the routes in the short term. They would also need to carry additional flight deck crew, which may not suit their business model. All of this, of course, assumes that the US Department of Transport approves their application, which observers believe they will. One to watch, methinks. Nigerian carrier Air Peace, West Africa's largest airline, has strengthened its commercial partnership with UAE carrier Emirates by activating a bilateral agreement expanding connectivity between Africa, the UAE and London. The agreement allows Air Peace to connect its extensive West and Central African network into Emirates Hub in Dubai via London, giving customers seamless journeys and greater choice. Good news for Qantas Link customers travelling between Adelaide and Brisbane. From the 3rd of March, the regional arm of Qantas will begin to introduce their recently acquired Airbus A220s onto the route as they phase out their Embraer E190s. The change will deliver in-flight Wi-Fi, enhanced cabins and an additional 100,000 seats per year, all of which sounds like great news for those who traverse the route. And finally, Turkish low-cost airline AJet has become the latest member to join the International Air Transport Association as a full member. With bases in both Ankara and Antalya, the carrier operates a fleet of 86 Airbus and Boeing narrow bodies to 93 destinations in Europe and West Africa. Welcome to the club. Thanks for being with us. That's all for today, but we'll be back tomorrow and I look forward to seeing you then. Take care. Panamanian airline Copa has announced plans to fit Wi-Fi and internet capability to its fleet starting in the fourth quarter of 2026. Precise details haven't yet been released, but the carrier has posted on its social feeds its intentions. We suspect this is in response to the growing number of airlines in the region either offering or planning to offer its customers surfing time whilst aloft. 30-year-old Cebu Pacific Airlines is planning to take advantage of newly relaxed visa regulations for Chinese visitors to the Philippines. The carrier has said that it wants to restore pre-pandemic routes to China and is confident that it will be able to attract a higher number of Chinese customers with its competitive fares. The airline is set to take delivery of 7 new aircraft this year, 2 Airbus A330neos, as well as 5 A320neo family aircraft, as it works to become an all-neo airline by 2028. Very ambitious. On Sunday, Canadian flag carrier Air Canada welcomed the first of 5 Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft on lease from Air Lease Corporation. The lease was originally signed in 2023 with the first deliveries planned for this year, so everything remains on track. Air Canada currently has a fleet of 194 aircraft, with the 737 MAX being the most widely used type in its fleet. US low-cost Goliath Southwest has ended its decades-old policy of open seating on board its aircraft. To mark the demise of this somewhat outdated process, the carrier deployed a Boeing 737 MAX 8 in retro livery to operate the very last flight that was offering a seating free-for-all. Southwest customers may be in a daze for a few weeks whilst they adjust to a different kind of stampede to board the airline's flights. Last week we shared the story that JetBlue was looking for customers to vote for their favourite of 3 shortlisted liveries to adorn one of its aircraft to celebrate its long relationship with the Dominican Republic in the Caribbean. I promised I would reveal my favourite of the 3 choices, and as a man of my word, here's my preference. Not that I want to influence you, of course, but a vote for this particular livery would be a great idea, in my humble opinion. And finally, Turkish Airlines and Air Montenegro have signed a code-share agreement aimed at enhancing connectivity between Turkey and Montenegro. As part of the agreement, Turkish Airlines will place its code on Air Montenegro operated flights between Istanbul and both Podgorica and Tivat. In return, Air Montenegro will apply its flight code on the Turkish carrier's flights to Istanbul, as well as selected other routes to include Dubai in the UAE and Baku in Azerbaijan. allowing it to offer seamless travel beyond its normal European reach. Separately, Turkish Airlines has also reintroduced daily services between its Istanbul hub and the Albanian capital Tirana. Don't forget you can get in touch with us via your preferred social media channels, or alternatively by visiting the website now on screen. That's all for today, folks. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, and in the meantime remember to stay safe. The good news just keeps coming from Atlanta-based Delta Airlines, who have announced a new firm order placed with Airbus for an additional 31 wide-bodied aircraft. The order comprises of 16 A330-900s and 15 A350-900s, which when delivered will result in Delta's Airbus wide-body fleet totalling 134 aircraft, 55 330neos and 79 350s. The airline said of the order, as we grow our international footprint and prepare our fleet to serve expanding long-haul markets, these aircraft will enhance our capabilities and elevate our premium offerings. The order further strengthens Airbus' position and is of course good news for the European manufacturer. Not such good news, however, for the staff at Aer Lingus UK, as the expected decision by Aer Lingus in Dublin to close its transatlantic base in Manchester from the 31st of March has now been announced. The carrier has already notified customers affected by the closure of flight cancellations, which has also impacted the airline's 200 or so staff based at the UK airport. The airline has stressed that its flights and those of Aer Lingus Regional between Manchester and Ireland are unaffected. It's a sad day. Global logistics specialist United Parcel Services confirmed the retirement of its entire MD-11 fleet. The decision to accelerate the withdrawal of the type from the fleet came in the wake of the tragic crash in November 2025 that claimed the lives of 3 crew members and 12 people on the ground. The MD-11 has played a key role in the company's operations for many years, but was already being phased out in favour of more fuel-efficient twin-engine Boeing 767 and 777 freighters. Over the next 15 months, UPS plans to take delivery of 18 new Boeing 767s, 15 of which should be with the company by the end of this year. Starlink's high-speed satellite Wi-Fi system has found a new customer in the shape of Bahrain-based Gulf Air, who have selected the Elon Musk-owned company to provide its onboard Wi-Fi system. The carrier has stated that the rollout will commence in mid-2026 and will be fitted to the company's entire fleet. Not all aviation news is positive, and that is certainly the case for Moldovan national carrier Air Moldova, who have now reached the final stages of collapse following the decision of a Moldovan court to declare the airline insolvent, ordering its immediate liquidation. The court rejected a restructuring plan proposed by the carrier, which suspended operations back in May 2023 and has been struggling ever since then to resolve its liquidity issues. It is believed that approximately 75,000 customers are still awaiting refunds, which now looks even more unlikely with this decision. And finally, today marks the end of an era for Airbus and its Beluga ST aircraft, as it's scheduled to operate its last flight on behalf of its manufacturing owner. The Beluga ST is based on the A300-600 and has served as a super transporter for Airbus for around 30 years. The last flight is due to perform a farewell flypast over northern Wales and is set to land at Broughton Airfield at around 11 AM local time. Lovers of the Beluga will still be able to see the A330-based Beluga XL operating between the company's various manufacturing sites, but today is set to be your last chance to see the original Beluga plying the skies. We wish the Beluga ST a very happy retirement. That's it for today, folks. We'll be back with you again tomorrow. In the meantime, have a great day, and if you are flying somewhere, let us know how it goes. Bye for now. It's that time of year when airlines and airports look at their performance for the previous 12 months, and the lovely folk at Copenhagen Airport in Denmark are definitely in a celebratory mood, as the airport's performance figures for 2025 have now been released. The Danish gateway saw record passenger numbers, with 32.4 million passengers travelling through its doors last year. The figures show that, unsurprisingly, the summer months were the airport's busiest, with 9.6 million passengers using its terminals in July, August and September. I do like Copenhagen, so I probably should help add to their 2026 numbers, which they forecast could be 8% higher than last year. We've got our fingers crossed for you, Copenhagen. just when US aircraft manufacturer Boeing thought it was beginning to see a brighter future following a protracted period of production issues, the Seattle-based firm may now be facing durability concerns over its late-running 777-9 program. Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg revealed during the company's fourth quarter earnings call that the manufacturer has another problem with the 777-9 certification program involving the durability of the type's GE9X turbofan engines. He went on to confirm that both Boeing and General Electric are working to understand the cause of the issue in order to develop corrective actions. Ortberg stressed that the flight test schedule continues and that they remain hopeful of delivering the first aircraft to launch customer Lufthansa in 2027, some 7 years late. Southeast Asian neighbours Malaysia Airlines and Singapore Airlines have formalised a strategic business partnership following approval from Malaysia's Civil Aviation Authority. The partnership that had already received approval from the Consumer Commission of Singapore in July 2025 enables the two carriers to work progressively at developing their commercial ties, enhancing connectivity and offering greater flexibility for customers travelling between Malaysia and Singapore. In time, the partnership is expected to lead to coordinated flight schedules, joint fare products and corporate travel arrangements. Further details will be released as the airlines develop their collaboration over the coming months. The Pakistani government has initiated an open bidding process for a concession to run Islamabad International Airport as part of its broader privatisation initiatives. The Privatisation Ministry has stated that it is now seeking long-term commercial concessions for the management of Islamabad, as well as airports in Karachi and Lahore. And finally, German carrier Eurowings has become the 7th new airline to add London Gatwick to their network in 2026. The Lufthansa Group member is planning to serve 2 routes from the busiest single runway airport in Europe to both Cologne and Stuttgart. Cologne will launch with the start of the 2026 summer timetable on Sunday the 29th of March and will be offered twice daily except Saturday when a single flight will be operated. Stuttgart will commence on the 12th of April and will operate once daily with the exception of Saturdays when there is no service. That's it for this week, folks. On behalf of the Air News Daily team, I hope you have a great weekend and we look forward to being back with you again on Monday when we will be bringing you another Route Special. We'll see you then.
We look forward to seeing you again next week. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to Air News Daily to stay up to date with all the latest news from the commercial aviation world.